You have manifested successfully many things, or perhaps even your specific person, but all of the time you end up not hardening this manifestation into fact. Meaning, in other words, you manifest it, it lasts for a while, and then you lose it again. Why is this happening, and how can you fix it for the long term? Hello everyone, my name is Nia and welcome back to my channel. On this channel we talk about law of assumption, esotericism, witchcraft, quantum physics and so much more. And today I am recording from the Moon Temple in Hackney, London. By the way, if you guys want the item like perfumes to attract your specific person, or love, or spells, or candles, or even tarot reading from Steph, which is the owner of the shop, you just have to contact her on her Instagram as well as on the website. But make sure that when you contact her, you are asking for her to do a reading. If you want coaching from me instead, you have to go to the Etsy shop down below, as well as for my Patreon. But now, with that being said, and sorry for a little bit of noise, but I'm in a shop, so there is the street outside. But basically, why is your manifestation not hardening into fact in the long run? Now, just affirming, it's fine to manifest anything that you want and to manifest fast, or even visualization and sats. Like I've made a previous video that is very popular, which is about manifesting with the Neville Goddard technique in less than 3 days. It does work. However, if you don't understand this concept that I want to talk about on this video, it will be very hard for you to harden any manifestation into fact. So okay affirming, okay visualizing, which I am going to make other videos, but what is key for you to harden into fact your manifestation is this. You must change your identity. You must identify with a different state of consciousness permanently for the long term. Now, changing identity doesn't necessarily mean, in the common terminology of changing identity, like you're changing completely your personality and you're becoming completely a different person. I don't believe in this. I don't believe that we should become different people. I agree with Vadim Zealand when he says in reality transurfing that we should be who we are, and therefore just become the highest version of us, so we can quantum jump in the higher tracks that will eventually allow us to live the reality that we want to experience. Now, this is a topic also for another video, and if you guys want to know more about quantum jumping, I have a video dedicated to it. But changing identity is to not identify anymore with the lower version of yourself and with those lower life tracks, which we could also say is not identifying with your old memories, traumatic negative events, as well as lower self-concept. Now, having a good self-concept, I've made other videos about this, is not necessarily just about affirming, I'm a goddess, I'm a god, I have everything I want. It's not just about that. It's a very, in my opinion, interpreted in that way, with no judgment whatsoever to other people who think in that way, but it is quite shallow and it doesn't harden things into fact. What I mean by changing identity and state of consciousness, it's pretty much identifying who you want to be and identifying the reality that you want to experience. So let's give some examples. Let's say, for instance, that you want to have that promotion at work, or you want to leave your job and travel the world and being a YouTuber, travel vlogger, something among those lines. Let's identify first what we want. And before even we jump into visualization and affirmation, what I give to my clients as an exercise and what I think you guys should do, you should write a response to this question, which is essentially this: how would I feel if I will be the person that has the promotion? How would I feel if I was a YouTuber that is travel vlogging? How would I feel if I would be in a healthy, committed relationship with SP, or even without SP? It's more about you. How would I feel? And I want you to write down how would you feel. And then after writing down how would you feel, how would you dress, How would you walk down the street? What will be your state of consciousness? And be very detailed in the state of consciousness. Now, the exercise that I give to my clients is the blank state meditation, where they say goodbye to their old version of themselves and they start identifying with the newest version of themselves. But even if you write it down, it's pretty much the same exercise. What is important is to identify the newer state of consciousness, and therefore the highest version of you that is living in that life track, because reality is a mirror. And so if you hate the world mirror will hate back at you. If you don't feel chosen for real, the world will show you that you're not chosen. If you feel magnetic and you become the person that is magnetic, the mirror will show you just exactly that. So it's not about changing your personality, or it's not about changing completely yourself, but it's about transcending to the highest version of you. And when it comes down to love, for instance, I highly suggest you to watch my video entitled Become Magnetic, because there are a few techniques and there are a few steps that I do suggest in order to attract love, but moreover in order to become magnetic. But this, guys, is fundamental. And once you have identified the new identity, the new sense of self, then is a journey. Now, the manifestation of that you want, it's going to come even if you just affirm. But to harden it into fact, because reality is a mirror, you must sit not only in the assumption that what you want is already yours, but you must become this new person long enough. And that's what many people don't do. They get their manifestation, then they see the mirror reality slowly changing and transforming, and they are in the middle way and they give up too soon. You must persist, but not affirming. It's not about persisting and forcing things outside of yourself. It's about working with outer intentions. It's about persisting in the new identity of self. So, for instance, let's give again the example of I want to become a successful travel YouTuber. Well, what you're going to do in order to enter that state of consciousness is first identifying how you will feel. And before you even take any inspired action towards that journey, you will start feeling in that way in the present moment. You will start thinking about it, channeling ideas to become a travel YouTuber. And then now when you feel ready, and don't wait too much, you will start taking actions, because a bit of action is necessary. Now, action in the sense of career could be going at your job in a more positive way, knowing that the promotion is yours. In the case of the travel YouTuber, it could be I'm actually going to consider making a plan and doing it in the now. And in the process of doing and taking a little bit of action, not too much, you work with your outer intention of visualizing and affirming. Now, in the case of a specific person, for instance, I don't necessarily advise to take actions or to text or to stalk, because those actions come from desperation. If you want to know more, I made a course on how to manifest a specific person. But with a specific person, or in general with attracting love, it's all about identifying with the highest version of you that is loved. And so it's not about taking those actions, in my humble opinion. Now, if you are a texter and you feel really good about sending a message that is balanced and healthy, please go ahead and text. There is no problem whatsoever. But if you are texting coming from only inner intention and coming from I'm texting because that's how I'm gonna get my manifestation and that's how they're gonna like me, don't do it. Why? Because you constantly have to be aware of your thoughts. You have to be aware, moreover, of your state of consciousness. So, what would be the version of me that is chosen by my SP or has found the love of my life? Act, think, behave, and every single day step into that role. Let's say that you want to get married. What the wifey version of me or the husband version of me will act, think, and behave. Now, many people get this wrong because they associate wifey, husband in a relationship with another person. It has nothing to do with action towards another person, because many of you guys ask, yeah, but whatever, but if I will be with them, I will text them, I will be with them, I will hang out with them and things like that. It's not about that. Think about this for a minute. The day that you have met your SP, or the day that you have been in your life in a happy relationship, what you were doing prior to meeting the guy, meeting the girl, what were you doing? I know the answer. The majority of the time that I've met very healthy individuals in my life, and I had a wonderful relationships, because I did have wonderful relationships in my life, was the thing that I did before. I was focused on my job. I was happy about my life. Back in the years, I was traveling with my band. I was very passionate about what I was doing. I was focused on myself. I felt very confident within my skin, and I was thriving in that particular moment, just exactly as I am right now. I'm thriving. I'm doing the video. I'm enjoying my life. Even if there isn't anybody in my life right now, I am thriving. And I know that when I am in the state of consciousness, I am the highest version of me, or I'm transcending into the highest version of me. So for you, it could be slightly different. It does not matter. Mine is only an example. So ask yourself, what sort of identity did I had prior to meeting my SP, or prior to meeting that amazing guy back in the day, or my ex-boyfriend, my ex-girlfriend, and usually healthy people? And also ask yourself, what was my state of mind state of consciousness when I met an unhealthy individual? I have the answer to that. I was more focused on the outer screen. I was going out and seeking for a partner. I was forcing things around me. That's what always magnetized in my life lower life tracks and lower individuals when I was in that state of consciousness. What is your answer? The same you could do for job, you could do for promotion. And so by answering these questions, you are understanding the type of state of consciousness, thoughts, and feelings that you should carry through the day. It's so important, you guys, because yes, you can do the affirmation, and you should do the affirmation and the visualization. But if you don't sit long enough in the newer state of consciousness, how in the world the mirror can harden into fact the reality that you want in matters of love, in matters of career, or in any matters for instance. So you must persist in this new identity without observing too much the 3D, but having the faith that it is indeed going to come to you, because the mirror will respond to your state of consciousness. And I hope I make this clear. So many times what happens, I want to make this even more clear, is that people start, they do good for a couple of days, but it's like an addiction. And Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this. Negative emotions are addictive for the body, because you have created patterns of mind that creates chemical substances in your body that make you addicted to those negative emotions. So what is going to happen, you have to treat yourself like you are in rehab for a while. So you're changing this identity, you are revising your old memories, because remember, memories also create. So for instance, I've always been a failure, I've never succeeded in relationship, I've never succeeded in my life, and you keep bringing the past over and over and again. You have to say goodbye to those memories. You have to decide right now that reality is gone. I don't identify with that person that I used to be anymore. I am transcending to the highest version of me, following the list of how I feel, how would I feel, what would I think, so on and so forth. So during the days, usually what people do is they do good, and then your brain starts feeling like in an addiction. Oh, maybe this is not gonna work. Maybe I was feeling so comfortable with those negative thoughts. I was feeling so comfortable in my old identity. I will never change. It's all an addiction of the negative patterns. If you want to know more about this, read the book of Change the Habits of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza, which is a book that I also give to my clients to read, because it explains why neurologically we tend to pull back to the old version of us. So when this negative thoughts comes along while you're constructing your new identity, guys, this is when you gotta persist. This is when your mirror is gonna show you unwanted circumstances. You're gonna have some friction. Now, it doesn't happen all the time, but it could happen. A little bit of a purge. I don't believe too much in the concept of purge, but I used to experience the purge at the very beginning of my manifestation journey. And that's because I was changing my beliefs and I was transforming into a new version of myself. So when you feel this friction, friction, that's what you gotta persist. I don't care if your reality is not showing you what you want. I don't care what the voice in your mind is trying to do to revert you back to the old version of you. You gotta persist and you gotta say, no, I'm not that version of me anymore. No, we're not doing that anymore. So for instance, let's say that you used to act very desperately around men or girls, over texting, stalking, or doing anything of that, and you are in a moment of doubts where you feel you want to do it and you feel it's an inspired action. That's what you got to stop yourself and say, no, we're not doing that anymore, because don't identify with that version of me anymore. I don't need to stalk. I don't need to overtax. I know I'm chosen. And you move forward with that new idea, with a new sense of concept. Or for instance, let's say you are wanting to do a YouTube channel or a business, an activity, traveling, whatever it is, and you're moving towards that direction, and all of a sudden you get the panic. You're like, no, maybe I'm going to go back home. No, this is not going to work. You have to tell your brain, no, we are doing this now. I'm not anymore that old version of me. Or for instance, it's the same when like you want to stop smoking, or you want to stop doing anything. Your mind has to tell you, I don't identify with that anymore. I'm not a smoker anymore. I'm not that version of me anymore. And the more you do this, the more that new state of consciousness and the highest version of you will start show up. First in your feelings, and then the mirror. It's magic, you guys. The mirror will respond back to you. If you do this, guys, and then after doing this, slowly, gradually, it's gonna take, for me, it took me like really, really fast, like 2 weeks for doing this. However, for some people it might take longer. It depends on you. But once you will start, sorry my English, once you start feeling better, add the affirmations about specific people, the job, the money, the visualization, the daydream, and whatever you have. In this way, if you successfully travel this bridge between your old self and the new identity, you can guaranteed that you won't have to affirm for a very long time. It is guaranteed that whatever it is that you want, money, SP, spiritual journeys, travel, adventure, it will harden into fact, because you have changed your state of consciousness, and the mirror has no choice but to respond to your state. In other words, we could say you have successfully quantum jumped in a reality that it's ideal to you, because you have become the ideal version of yourself. So explained in this way, self-concept makes a lot more sense. You can do it even with the affirmation, but remember, it's not just about affirming. You can affirm, affirmation can be great, but you have to decide, I'm not anymore that old version of me. This is how we're doing things right now. And you got to tell yourself, this is what we're doing right now. This is my conscious actions. This is my conscious thoughts, and become aware of that new version and persist in that new version. Okay, you guys, I hope this video made sense. Let me know in the comment section down below. My Patreon for extra video is down below, where I actually have a meditation to meet your higher self and help you out with this journey of creating the new version of you that will make you quantum jump in the ideal version of reality that you want. And what else? Coaching down below, courses down below, and I see you very soon on this channel. I love you guys.